Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti. Is it grand final eve, Pete, or is it Cox Plate eve, or is it just the day before the day before?
It's Thursday. That's all I know. It's meant to be a public holiday tomorrow, which is fantastic for the people of Melbourne who can just look out their window with nothing to do.
Anyway, my God. It's a strange world we live in, mate. But anyway, this week we've got Matt the Kock and Robbie Griffiths on the new Cranbourne partnership, which seems to be all the trend these days.
A lot of partnerships about, Darren. It's a way to go, I suppose. Such a taxing industry physically, mentally, and I suppose if you can split the workload a little, it's for the betterment of a lot of participants in the industry, especially the trainers. And yeah, look, I think from what we will glean and listen to, they're going to sort of probably just take another path with the type of horse they might bring into the stable as well. So very good listening.
I think also when you think about it, dealing with Karen Maher and David Eustace, Mick Price and Mick Kent Jr., I think from an owner's perspective, there's a lot of positives. You actually get more communication and you do get differing opinions from time to time, which is interesting, but opinions are they're opinions, and often they both don't agree. But I think it's been, for the owners, it's good that if you can't get one, you can get the other, and some will build a relationship with one and some build a relationship with the other. So I think it's a good move for Robbie Griffiths. I think he needed, with what he's been through, and I think he needed, some fresh energy, and I think Matt the Kock will bring that to the table.
Absolutely, and I think we've a snapshot Dave Eustace, how refreshing he has been from our point of view with the Mar setup as well. Right, we've got 9 minutes. We got 9 minutes to fly through it. So
short and sharp, Pete.
Last week, a great return to form by Connery at Moe. A very smart ride by young Campbell Rawilla. Pulled their pants down, I said. They all went wide and he stayed in the fence.
Look, it was great for the owners to see Connery get back. God, he's been a good horse. He's had his share of issues, but he's been a good, fun horse. It's exactly the sort of horse as a syndicator you want in the stable. Didn't cost a lot of money. He's genuine. He's more than paid his way, and he's given the owners tons of fun. And what a great ride and a great training effort by Archie Alexander.
Hopefully, his next target's Ballarat Cup Day. So hopefully there might be a little bit more provision for owners to at least get to watch that day. So, but good result. That was his 5th career win, and well deserved. Next day, collectible. We just thought we're going over to sneak a benchmark 58, but I'd given up after 100 metres after she settled so far back. She ran 6th.
Yeah, look, going to Adelaide, it never works out. Rarely it works out. You go over there, think you're going to get a little metro win next to a name for a breeding career, and 58 or 64 doesn't really matter. But I don't know. Maybe that trip just takes too much out of them because, a lot of horses go over there, get beat Pete, and you've got a jockey that's never sat on it before. There's a lot of negatives, and these things, they happen in racing, but they make you look stupid.
Anyway, she's still on target for the Barbus bracelet at Flemington, so we'll see how that unfolds. Melburnian never got in the race at Leopardstown, ran 6th.
Way out of its ground, well back, but did finish off okay, closed okay, and as you know, it's in that sale coming up, and I think it's down to race this weekend, but she's about done.
Yeah, it's a 2,000 metre race at Leopardstown again on Saturday. I'll have the acceptance out for the owners tomorrow. As you'll hear with the interview with Robbie and Matt Moneybags, Mr. Moneybags returned to form. He got home strongly for 4th. We ideally would have loved 1st or 2nd, but he's still some chance of getting a run in the $500,000 Country Series race on Oaks Day, but just good to see him back in form.
Yeah, well, given he's got a high rating, he might sneak in there. But look, I think he was 3rd up and he was back on top of the ground, and Damien Lane said, he said off camera, if he stepped away, he probably wins the race. He was just a little bit slow stepping away, but he motored home to run 4th without threatening. But it was a good return.
Today we had Street Baby, and this is what we've been wanting to see. Her out to a mile, blinkers on. She was a little tardy to step, probably posied up okay, but it was just hard from where she was. She had to weave. Dean Yendall did a good job to actually get her through the field. She copped a whack on the nose at the 100-metre mark from a stray whip, but she was strong through the line for third.
Yeah, look, I only seen it on the phone there. It was a little bit hard to see, but, you know, clearly she needs more ground. She needs to get out in trip. And, look, she did have to run top 3 today to warrant training, keep going with her. But to me, she's just a 2,000-metre horse day in, day out. And the sooner we get her out to that distance, the sooner she'll show us what she can really do.
Agree. Right, going forward now, we've got 4 I can definitely talk about. Motley Prince first up, definitely going to Benalla tomorrow. Drawn a little wide with Lockie King on. Basically just got to kick him off. Just hope the heavens don't open because he hates the wet. I think we'll be probably right. Benalla.
Yeah, I think the rain is tomorrow night. So,
yep.
Look, we just want to see something positive, Pete. Last prep he was no good. He's been gelded. He's back. His work's been good. His trials have been good. We just want to see him do it on race day.
He looks super in the video I seen there this morning. So,
yeah.
Hope the looks match up to a race day performance. We mentioned Melburnian. I'll get that out. Sunday at St Arnaud, we've got Periscope. Now this is a bit of a fill. It's a race over 2,000, which is a drop back, but it's to fill the void to the Echuca run on Melbourne Cup Day, which is over 2 miles.
So Pat Ryan feels he needs that run just to top him up, so he's ready for that 2-mile race. So yeah, you're kind of a little bit guarded, but Pat's been going so good with the horses, you can't sort of rule him out that he can't win. Logic says he's probably looking for further, but yeah, as you say, this will tune him up for the Echuca race. So
yep.
Yeah, as long as he runs well and pulls up good, we'll be happy.
Again, we touched on Hasseltoft with Robbie in the interview coming up, and he's first up over 1,100. He probably can't win it, but I'll tell you what, if you're ever going to kick a horse off like him that's going to be a 1,400 miler, Sale is the perfect track for those horses to kick off. D Lane goes on, so no negatives there.
Lovely big track. He's been, look, the form around this horse from last prep has been outstanding. You know, look, to be honest, I think it's going to rain. They're going to get rain down there. The track's going to be a little bit rain affected. He's going to love it. And to be honest, wouldn't surprise me if he got over the top of him.
No, I agree. I don't think he's just making up top 4, or I think if he's anywhere near him at the 200, he'll be the strongest horse late. And just quickly, I don't think Robbie's going to run La Pietra next week. He'll probably more than likely trial her and the race after. Madam Mischief's entered for Echuca. I'll have those fields out tomorrow. She's at a benchmark 58, 1,200. Ideal race for her. An Irishman could go around at Swan Hill, 1,300 first up. He's been working fairly.
Where's that mean? When's
Swan
that?
Hill. Swan Hill. And
yeah, when?
Oh, sorry, Tuesday.
Oh, well,
yeah.
If he goes to Swan Hill, mate, they won't see which way he went.
Yeah, on his fair trials, yep.
Bendigo
Igniter, which Robbie again mentions, and look, he's just kicking off. He'll
need the run.
Yep. So that's where we are. We've got 2.5 minutes.
Who's your Cox Plate Grand Final double?
Cox Plate Grand Final double. I like the mare. I've changed. I was a bit rushing Camelot, the gate. I just think she gets a nice run. She was really good last start, but I'm a bit worried about the international. I can't think of its name now. Is it Avaray or whatever?
Yep.
They're the two. Into the Cats. Those two into the Cats.
Well, ideally, if my heart would say I'd like to see Russian Camelot win because I got so much invested in Camelot, and I'd like to see Geelong win the grand final for Liz. But my head says Acadia Queen probably wins and Richmond probably win.
We're nearly there. We're at half right. Acadia Queen. The tipping comp, we still have 8 people that have tipped 4 in a row.
Gee, that's unbelievable.
That's a good effort. This will
So what's the race?
Cox Plate this week.
Cox Plate.
Yeah, Cox Plate. So
Cox Plate.
We keep saying it each week. This will sort them out. But yeah. So there we
I
go.
don't know who I'll tip. I haven't thought. I've got to think about who I'm going to tip yet. Now, did we have a winner for our little question last week? How many times did Paul
No one
push to
come
take
to
his
me.
hat off?
No one come to me.
No one.
Probably no one can count past 10, Darren, because I got it at 12, or there was 12 and a half.
12 was the right answer.
Yeah, there was a sort of a half and he stopped. So, but yeah, 12 times. It's amazing.
12, all right.
I haven't shown Paul or told him that yet. So
we'll have to. So we get to keep the cap for another week.
Yeah, we'll find another question next week. So anyway, we're in
all right.
Time.
Yep, we'll leave it there, Pete. And happy grand final day to everyone, and happy Cox Plate Day. And until next week, I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti.
Bye all.
Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with the regular part of the show, Peter Morganti. Hello, Pete.
How you going, Darren? Late as usual.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm late today. I've got a couple of special guests here. Probably the newest, hottest, well, maybe hottest, lukewarm anyway, partnership in town. Welcome, Matthew. Welcome, Robbie.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, Darren. That was
right.
good. Well,
you've announced this. You've announced this training partnership. Obviously, the Kock's taken the lead. Griffiths is going to be like the micro manager. So I'm going to ignore you, Robbie, and I'm going to ask Matt all the questions.
He's jumped off page already. Now we're about to follow me sheet now.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, over to you.
Yeah.
I'll ring you in a minute, Rob.
Over to you, Pete.
Right, well, he's giving it back to me now. There's a sharp handball. All right, Rob, we'll just a snapshot across the Robbie Griffiths time in the racing industry. I reckon it'll be pushing into the mid-30 years. Commenced as a jockey. Successful jockey, rode for some of the best names that have gone around in Australian history, Cummings, Hayes, Friedman. Then, like does happen to the best of us, Rob, weight sort of took hold. We always thought training was your go, and I think 30-odd years. We might have commenced back in about 91. You had a year with Tony Vassell, I think, prior to branching out on your own. And here we are up until last week, Griffiths racing only, now Griffiths to Kock racing. How did this come about, this new partnership? And, just give us a bit of a spiel there.
Yeah, well, it was a great piece of fate that come my way. Mike the Kock, one of the world's most decorated trainers, as we know, rang me up as he was going to set up in Cranbourne, and asked if I'd be kind enough to show Matthew the lay of the land in Cranbourne, which I thought was a fantastic honour. And naturally, I accepted the opportunity to show Matthew the way. And during this process, I couldn't help but be super impressed with Matthew's skill set. And also, too, during this time frame, Matthew has partner Monique, and Monique was assistant trainer to Sean Terry, a big stable in South Africa. So Sharani and I were super impressed with what we were seeing. So we couldn't help ourselves but ring Mike and Diane in South Africa and asked if we could change their plans and see if we could ask Matthew and Monique about a partnership. And both Mike and Diane loved the idea of it. And even though it changed the way that they were thinking, they could see the benefits of the Kock racing in South Africa and Griffiths racing in Australia coming together as one. And they could see the benefits of how it would assist moving forward with this format. And there's such a great appetite for South African racing and planning and investing in Australian racing as it is. So, and it would shortcut the infrastructure and moving forward rather than setting up a satellite stable, for want of better expressions or words, than what Mike was going to do with Matthew. and it was a better way forward. And we've seen how successful partnerships are in Australia through Gay and Adrian and the Hawks team and Michael and Price and so on, and Kieran and David Eustace. So the pathways are there. 7-day racing is not going away. 2 brains are better than 1, 4 sets of eyes, and so on, and all this sort of stuff. So we've seen it all successful. So it just made so much sense. So the 2 families that got together, it was just welcomed with thumbs up, and so here we are today. So yeah.
Do the training fees double?
Yep. Next week, Pete. Sorry, Darren.
Just back with that, Rob. Now we know that there was a period there with a bit of ill health and all that, and obviously you've got through and everything's great. I know Darren would probably have a quib here about finding a brain or fixing the brain. He's looking at me. It obviously will take a lot of pressure off you that way as well. Obviously with Sharon E, who's obviously a big part of the business, what we found and seen is the actual ability of all your staff that grew through that as well, which probably, from your point of view, gave you a nice feeling that you had a really good stamp across them. But I think that what I'm getting to here is there's going to be a lot of pressure off you as well.
Oh, absolutely, Pete. And it's great that you'd noticed that, and so many have. I mean, Sarah won an award from the Godolphin Awards this year through going above and beyond, and it was noticed through the Godolphin Awards how much she did. And she's only one member of our team, you know, Reed Belfer, what Beth has stepped up, and Jade Matthews, Don Healy, we've got a fantastic team at Griffiths Racing, and they all stood up to the plate during my illness, and Shrani and I are forever indebted in how the team are. We've got a fantastic team, and now that we've been able to strengthen that team even more with what Matthews brought to the table and Monique, and then we put in a great sales manager and young Jack Shack who's come from Aquas and so on. So we've been able to strengthen the team even more, and that's what the future's about. You know, as the saying goes, the future belongs to those that plan for it. So we're doing that, and so I was at the crossroads, no doubt, during my illness, that I either had the choice of either taking a step back and downsizing and letting myself just basically, walk out the back door, so to speak, and just reduce and let, the younger generation take a step up, and or when Matthew come along, it was a fantastic opportunity to reinvigorate, regenerate and really ramp things up, and it's really put a pep in my step, and I'm loving it. Like the alarm, I'm beating the alarm up of a morning, I'm just bouncing out of bed, and it's really made me feel 20 years younger, and I'm so excited about what we're doing and where we're going. And I know we've got to restock our horses, and I understand that, and that doesn't happen overnight. But it's amazing the amount of energy that is put into all of our staff, and what it's doing. And our young horses, and we'll go back to the yearling sales, and we will restock what we're doing, and we've got all the systems in place to create a really good future around Griffiths to Kock Racing. We've been there before, and we'll do it all again, and we'll do it bigger and better than ever.
All right, Matt. You've arrived in Australia. You come from South Africa. As far as I can understand, I did have a horse over there with your dad. I don't know if you remember her. Chocolicious was there for some time before she went to Europe and got in foal to Frankel. You and your dad, you've achieved a lot of things. Can you give us a little bit of summary about the South African career and what you're able to do in Dubai?
Yeah, well, I mean, my dad, he started basically with nothing, coming from the army, was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time, joined a trainer who unfortunately passed away, took over his yard and had a Group 1 winner within his first year of training, and then it's just been an upward spiral since then. And he was lucky enough to get a very good horse in Horse Chestnut, who was his first horse he ever travelled overseas. He took him to America, and he managed to win his first race there, and unfortunately broke down. But that opportunity opened other doors for him, and that door was a door to get into Dubai. And he took 5 horses across his first year and won 2 races on World Cup night with 2 of the 5 horses that he took across. And that was just a platform for setting up a yard there. And that was in 2003. Things have slowed down, but I mean, in the last 17 years, we've had a lot of success there. Over 100 carnival winners, multiple Group 1 winners, and it just kept opening more doors for my old man and our family, because the more horses we had with international success, the more we got to travel to England, Hong Kong, America again. We brought a horse to Australia to run the Melbourne Cup. So it's just been this this trend that's always allowed us to do more. And luckily enough, you know, my dad's, in my opinion, obviously very biased, is a fantastic horseman and brave and always not scared of blazing a new trail. And I think that's been the story of his life. He's always blazed a new trail, you know.
Why did you come to Australia?
Good question. We were looking around where to set up a permanent yard, because things are uncertain in South Africa, and my old man and myself were obviously very concerned about my future. So we started having a good think and a brainstorm, and we really felt that Australia's racing is powerhouse racing industry, and we just gave it. We've always come here and bought horses and felt that they are similar horses to South African horses, and the racing is similar to South Africa. So it wouldn't have been a big change. So it made a lot of sense for us to come here. And when we came over last year in July and had a look around, we really felt like we could be successful here. And so that's probably one of the reasons why we chose to come here.
How did you end up with Robbie Griffiths? Did you get lost in Cranbourne, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I think mainly through Neil Bainbridge, actually. Neil must obviously have a high regard for Robbie. I don't know if it's right or wrong just yet. It's very early in our relationship. No, I was just joking. But so Neil put us onto Robbie, and we felt Cranbourne was the best place for us. So that's why we were in contact with Neil. He showed us around, and he said this old pensioner that trains in this building, yeah, he's a good trainer and knows a thing or two. So he put us into contact with Robbie and Don, and they were very welcoming, and haven't looked back, honestly.
Could you just tell us what that 1 or 2 things that Robbie might know about training, so I could write it down?
I think it's still a secret. He's going to show me though in the next few months.
In the short time you've been there, how would you sum up Robbie Griffiths as a person and as a horse trainer?
As a person, he's a very genuine person. He's an honest person. And before I even got to Cranbourne and to Australia, people have always spoken about Robbie in a high regard and said that he's a fantastic human being, and no one was wrong. He really is a fantastic human being. And Sharani, I think they complement each other very well. There's not enough superlatives to say about Robbie, and we'll probably run out of time, and Peter will have to keep downloading. So as a trainer, he's got a fantastic history. He's got a good eye for a horse, and I think he's got a good understanding of a horse, having been a jockey before being a trainer. So I've really enjoyed working with him, and he's very concerned, not concerned is maybe not the right word, just very alert and attentive to the horse's well-being and mental status, which is something that is often overlooked,
What do you hope to achieve working with Robbie Griffiths over the next, say, 5 years?
As many Group 1 winners as possible.
Now, he's only trained 1 in 35 years.
Well, I'd like to add a few zeros there.
Well, I think you might. You want to quit here, Pete, and reload?
Yeah, just a quick one. Who takes the credit for Mr. Moneybags back in form yesterday? It just seems to be a coincidence, Matt, that you're there and he strikes form.
No, we're a team.
Sorry, Rob. Rob, obviously unprecedented times with COVID. I'll wind the clock back to, I think it was March. You were involved in a lot of meetings. Was there ever a time where you thought we'd be all unemployed there, going back to the initial stages?
Yes, little concerned when the discussions first started, when every jurisdiction in the world closed racing. And when we had, government meetings and there was discussions that they're closing racing in other parts of the world, and to every leadership group's credit, we stood strong in Australia and went, in particular in Victoria, and went, no, we lead the way. Everyone should follow us, and with the right biosecurity measures, protocols, and good, good policies, let's try to, with the skeleton staff, let's try to keep our industry going, knowing that the horses don't carry the virus. If we can keep, unfortunately, owners away, but if we can keep industry people at the races, and basically the jockeys and the stewards and the vets and the industry people, the strappers, let's see how we go and take it day by day, and touch wood, we're still going day by day. We've been able to keep the 300,000 jobs surviving around Australia, and it's something that I, in my role at the ATA on a federal level, something that I'm probably my proudest moment, and it's something that I can share with the politicians and every leadership group around Australia in all areas. So, and I think we've done a great service. Wagering's been up. People that don't follow racing have had something to look at, Pete. In land rooms, they've been able to watch TV and seen live entertainment. So I think we've been a great community service. So it's something that we've been very proud of.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, there's some negatives, but as a whole, do you reckon has it galvanised the industry, or is there some positives to come out of it from different points of view because we've had to be so strict in what we've done?
I think COVID's changed a lot of things for life in general, and I think that we'll keep some things out of it. I mean, even what we're doing today with Zoom, I think that there's some things that we'll keep moving forward for time management. I think that there's some things we'll learn out of it. Some things we'll keep. Some things we'll get rid of. Some things we'll go back to. Some things we'll learn from. Certainly biosecurity and other things we'll learn from. I think some things will benefit. There's a lot of people that have come into racing that didn't know much about it, that I think that they've, for want of better expressions, tasted the ice cream and liked it, and gone, geez, hey, that racing cape is good. It's they've got to enjoy it, they've got to like it, and they'll probably stay in it. Whether it's just watching it, whether it's having a bet on it, whether it's just being part of it. So I think that there's some pluses that have come out of it. There hasn't been many pluses to COVID, but that's some part of it for racing that's been a benefit. So I think that there's something for racing that's come out of it that's been okay,
Yep. I'll come back to you in a minute about some of your horses
Sure.
in the past, but I'll hand over to Darren now.
Matthew, I'd just be interested to know, our cost of labour is a lot higher here, and it's very expensive to have horses in work with wages and insurance and everything else. What do you see? What have you noticed the difference between the way you go about training in South Africa to the way we go about training in Australia? Is there anything that's really stood out to you that's different for better or not?
Yeah, I mean, South Africa is a completely different model because our running expenses, as you say and as you've mentioned, are a lot more inexpensive. So we're able to spend more time with the horse. We got one stable hand for 3 horses, whereas here it could be 1 to 5 or even 6 sometimes. So, I mean, we can have a horse out at stable for an hour and a half in the morning with someone on its back or leading it out at the track in the open, just really being a horse and walking amongst its other friends and in the herd. And whereas here it's a lot more time pressured. You got to have the horses get on the walker and get out on the track and get done as quickly as possible in the mornings, because you got to jump in the truck and be 4 hours away and at the races, that day. So I think that one advantage of South Africa is that we are able to spend a little more human to horse bonding time because of the inexpenses of training there.
So what time would you start work here in the morning?
Here in Australia, at Robbie Griffiths, we start at 4 a.m. And if you were going to say the next question, what time we start in South Africa, we start at 6 a.m. in South Africa.
And what time does Robbie come in? Does he come in about lunchtime?
When he's there. No, I'm only joking. No, Robbie's there every day at 5 a.m. He's there before the first horse goes out. Yeah.
So as a result of the pressure that you're under to get the horses worked with labour, do you find that as trainers, you spend more time walking around checking the horses yourselves? I know Robbie's got a fantastic system there, and there's cameras and, Cranbourne itself. How would you describe that system? Yeah,
I mean, the great thing about the model that Robbie's built his stables, which is a fantastic setup, is that every horse has got to come through the main section. So every horse in the morning gets checked by us or by Robbie's staff, which Robbie has taught, what to see and what to look out for. And I think it is a good setup for the system, the time pressure that they're under, as every horse comes in and then goes out to work, and then when they come back from work, they're coming back into the same section again. So we're checking the horses pre-work and post-work. So there's no negatives with regard to that.
And Cranbourne, the complex itself, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, we love Cranbourne because, like I said, we came here in July last year and did a bit of a tour and really got around Victoria and New South Wales. And we fell in love with Cranbourne and felt like it was a world-class facility, and it's only going to be getting better in the future.
Do you find Cranbourne a lot wetter to where you were over in South Africa?
Definitely, that's been a big adjustment, but it's something that the guys handle very well here. It's all set up for it, so it's all good.
I think when you go to the sales, you just need to focus on wet trackers. That'd be my advice. Just focus on wet trackers, Robbie. You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
I do indeed.
All right, Pete. I'll put him out of his misery.
Swamp King's not here anymore.
All right, Rob. We'll go back over a few horses that have probably been favourites in your time. A regular top 10 trainer. I don't know if 100 winners a year is a bit of a benchmark for you, but it seems to be a common theme across, a lot of the years. And amongst those winners, there's been some horses that a lot of our owners would have probably backed. Confederate Kid, Dan Zyler, maybe Onyx, in recent times, Helvorsen and Fidelia. But there's one horse, I reckon he'd hold a special place with you, and that was Dandy Kid.
Absolutely, Pete, especially this weekend with Kock's plate on, Money Valley, where he used to race all the time, or that's what we called it. When he used to go to Moonee Valley each time he raced, he's the horse that has the most winningest record, having won 15 races at that track. And that mare Winx, she only won 4 there. That's all she won. So he's won 15 at that track. So he was an outstanding racehorse and gave us a lot of fun. And, he was an amazing horse that raced from, he won his first 4 as a 2-year-old and won his last start as a 10-year-old and retired as a last start winner at 10. So that's something that we're very proud of. You talk about horse welfare and soundness for a 2-year-old to win his first 4 and retire a last start winner at 10. With soundness, and it's something that we're very proud of. And he won 15 races at Moonee Valley, and he they gave him an ovation, standing ovation, like an absolute superstar, like a Winx, like a Kingston Town, like a Sunline. And it was something that brought an absolute tear to my eye and all of us that were there. It was incredible. So he wasn't a Group 1 winner, but he was a champion to us. So we absolutely loved him. We found him at Berrigan in a paddock, $10,000 fully paid for, with breaking in and everything. And it was quite funny. One of the guys that bought a share, from the 1st of May, it was $1,000 for a 10% share, and one of the guys that bought a share 1st of February, I should say, it was $1,000, and at the end of when he started racing, he won 100 grand his first preparation, and the fella hadn't paid for his share yet. He said, take it out of the winnings. His share, he won 10,000 for his 10%. He got a $9,000 rebate by the end of his first preparation. So not good result, wasn't it? So he was a fantastic horse.
And he went on to win 820,000, I think, which is not bad considering it was 1999 to 2006 he raced.
Plus Phobos bonuses, which I don't think they always recorded him back then. He won close to $1 million, and what a great horse he was. And he won Cox Plate Day on most years, and so it was great to talk about him this weekend, knowing it's Cox Plate weekend.
Beautiful. I'll just roll into our horses, Rob. Just give us 10 or 15 secs on where they are. Obviously, we had Money Bags. We touched on him earlier. Return to form. We just need to, well, I think Paul Prushka said the other day he was going to go and pray, but he didn't know whether the man upstairs remembered him from when he was 4 or 5. But just to get into the field, there'll be a realistic chance in that $500,000 race on Oaks Day.
He is a realistic chance, definitely. If he can get into the race on during Cup week, he is a realistic chance in the Country Cup, definitely. And the backup plan, if he doesn't sneak in, is the benchmark 90 mile on final day.
Collectible, we don't need to add too much to the Adelaide run, but she's still on track to go to that Phobos race. Yep.
The bracelet, it's the first running. Darren and I have been speaking about that, and we don't know what horses are eligible, but she is, and she can rise to the occasion against better company. Better runs are against better class horses, and we think that she can give it a shake in the bracelet on Oaks Day. Yes, that's where she's going.
Two exciting horses coming through, and I'll mention them together. We've got Hasseltoff kicking off at Sale, and La Pietra, where she's not far away from returning to the racetrack either.
Yeah, exactly. Matt and I were really pleased with the way Hasseltoff's prepared. He trialled really well. 1100 might be a bit short at Sale Cup Day Sunday, but he's got D-Lane on, and there is rain forecast down there. So if it becomes a bit of a harder task, the 1100 with the wet, that plays into his favour. So he realistically is a place chance, but if it becomes a bit of a slog, he becomes more of a winning chance. So he's going well. And La Pietra, she's a mare that spelled really well at Darren. She went out of filly and come back a mare. She's nice and strong now, and she trialled really well recently. Matt and I were very impressed with the way she's trained. She's done a lot more endurance work on the treadmill to build her a cardio up. Matt's done a lot of cardio work with her, and it's really showed in her strength. And her trial was very impressive the other day. So we're looking forward to her returning to the races. Not sure when yet. We might give her another trial on Monday. But when she does step out, I think you'll see a really nice mare this preparation.
At Igniter, more than likely will kick off at Bendigo next Wednesday.
More than likely next Wednesday. He's not a first up horse. He needs a kick-off run. He normally bowls around with a nought first up. That's what he does, just to blow some cobwebs out. He's the horse you look for when he gets over more ground, second, third up over a mile plus. He's going well, but his first up run's normally just a run, Pete. He's not one that fires first up, but he's training well, but he just needs to have that hit out.
And just quickly, finally, Lord Lennox, and obviously you're really happy with Rove de Fay, which will keep the boss happy.
Yeah, Rove de Fay's going very well. I reckon that Matt and I were most impressed with the way he's been sprinting along, and we're looking forward to him having a very good summer. Lord Lennox has got a great cover of muscle tone. He hasn't completed any sprint sessions yet, but his action's back to normal, which is great after that Geelong incident where he hurt himself. So we're really pleased with him, but we haven't sprinted him along yet, but we're expecting him to also have a great summer, New Year period.
Excellent. Back to you, Darren, now.
Matt, best horse you've had anything to do with in your career?
Igugu. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she was bought in Melbourne. and she was a triple tiara winner in South Africa, and I think she won about 4 or 5 grade ones. She's probably the best horse I've had anything to do with.
And best day at the races, what racetrack did you just go to and go, wow, check this place out?
Sure, that's a tough question. I've been very fortunate in my life to experience the best race courses and race days in the world. But I was actually very impressed the other day with Moonee Valley. I didn't go there on a race day. I will be there on Saturday, but just for the gallops on Tuesday, when I walked out to the front of the grandstand, it really did take my breath away, and it's a fantastic course, you know.
Maybe as part of this partnership, you'll be actually able to help Robbie get himself a passport, because I don't actually know if he's travelled anywhere. I've been lucky enough to go to the Arc on, Arc Day, and just, what are you laughing at? Look at Longchamp and been to Royal Ascot, been to Dubai. They're all very special places, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You know, I've been lucky enough to be to those places as well. I've been to an Epsom Derby. We've had a run in the Kentucky Derby, which I was there for, the Belmont Stakes, Arlington Million, races in Hong Kong. So, yeah, people that do travel and own a passport, unlike some, are able to experience these fantastic race days.
And here in Australia, is it the Melbourne Cup you'd love to be part of, that you'd love to win, or is there another race that or you're just happy to win a race at the moment and break that duck?
I wouldn't mind a maiden at the moment. It's not or even a picnic race wouldn't matter. But being from a foreigner from overseas, definitely the Melbourne Cup is something. When I go to bed at night, I dream about winning that race, because we're always tuning in from wherever we are in the world to watch that race. So that's definitely the big dream one day.
What gets you going? Is it the sprinters or the stayers?
It's definitely not the sprinters for me. It's the classic type of horses. I enjoy testing their stamina and their fitness. That's definitely my type of animal.
Well, I guess coming up next year at the sales, I can see Griffiths to Kock going to Karaka, buying a lot of staying breds rather than these short, sharp little Vobis things that he's been buying over the last 20 years. I'll be looking through the results with interest here. Pete?
Yeah, Rob, actually, Darren just mentioned you've had a lot of success with Vobis horses over the years. It's something that I read your bio. I did do a little bit of homework before I got here, and it's something you've built your training model around, or your stables around. A lot of success over the years.
Yeah, Pete, that's true. The marketplace wanted quick return, so we've specialised in sprinter milers. There's no doubt about that. People wanted to know if their horse was worthy of owning before the next year's yearling sales, where a lot of stayers couldn't answer that question. Their trainers couldn't answer, their ownership group that give them that answer before the next year's sales. So that model is going to change. As you listen to Matthew there, we are going to be more diverse. There's no doubt about that. This year, or even yesterday, our first runners, after Moneybags was our first runner, our second runner was in the Geelong Classic that ran fourth, and he's going to run in the VRC Derby. So we want to be more diverse, and we will be looking towards some European horses to try and get a cup runner. I mean, Darren and yourself, Morgs, have been beaten the head in the cup, so we want to go down that path. We want to try and have a runner in the Holy Grail, and we haven't had a runner since Big Pat in 03, and we've only had the one runner, and that's what we want to do, so we want to be more diverse. So you will see us at Karaka. We want to go down that path. It's all right to have that model, to have the Super Vobis dollars, to have that turnover, and we will continue to do that for a element of the business section of it. But we want to be diverse and make sure that we have a Derby horse and a Cup horse and a stayer as well, because we want to make sure that we give ourselves a chance, because we believe with the facilities we've got at Cranbourne and the cardio work that we do and the heavy sand we've got out the back, the treadmill activities and so on, we believe we've got the right infrastructure in place to get the best out of a staying horse, and that's what we want to test ourselves and give our owners the opportunity to win a staying classic race.
Just briefly, obviously the partnership's together now. Nothing will change from stable numbers, I imagine. You still roll around with the same amount of horses in work, etc.
No, nothing's going to change. We just want to get better at it. The numbers aren't going to change at all unless we get an influx of horses come our way, which would be a good problem to have. But at this stage, our numbers are going to be exactly the same. We just like to get better numbers, which will realistically be a slow grow, because the grow will be starting from January, Magic Millions, and Karaka in January, and so on. So those grows are slow, Pete, as you know. So the yearlings are a development phase, so it's not going to be, the numbers aren't going to change in a hurry. So it'll be about a slow grow in that space.
And finally, just back to a level away from racing, have you corrupted Matt into being a Collingwood supporter yet?
Absolutely, that was part of the deal. It's on the contract as a partnership. He must be a Collingwood supporter. Although some of the text messages that come my way from yours truly at ATB headquarters in the truck, I don't think he's warming to the black and white with some of the messages that I've been getting this season.
With Carlton, Collingwood and Hawthorn out of the equation, who wins this weekend? Or do you care?
I do care, because my great mate Ivan Culliver is a Mad Tiger man, as is Pete Mertens is a Mad Tiger man. So I'll be cheering for the black and gold Tigers and hoping that they get the flag.
Beautiful. Finally, back to you, Darren, to wrap it up or fly a few more questions.
No, I'm pretty much done. I'm glad Robbie's gone for Richmond, because that means I've got no chance. And yes, Pete, I did agree with your comments during the week that the Collingwood Football Club thought the scoreboard had COVID-19 last week, so they stayed well clear of it. I thought that was a pretty smart line. But look, guys, thanks for coming on. I'm generally excited to see this partnership take hold. It's something Robbie and I had a discussion probably 12 months ago, that he was looking to do something like this, and I think he's found the right man. I think Matt de Kock brings youth, exuberance, and a wealth of knowledge. I'll be watching for the changes. I'll be looking to see how things change in this organisation for the better, and I'll be looking to see some more stayers running around. I'll be looking to see him spending some money in New Zealand, Robbie to get a passport. There's all sorts of things that are going to happen here. We're probably going to get shorter pre and post race reports off Matt. We look forward to meeting Mike. As I said at the outset, he did train a horse for me, Chocolicious Matt. Did an absolute shit-house job at it too, by the way. But she was at the end of a tether. She'd won a Group 1s by then. But anyway, that's all said and done. But I'm looking forward to catching up with you in person. I think I did meet you at the sales earlier in the year. And as you know, we love stayers here at ATB. We've been buying international since 2011. Haven't won the bloody cup yet, but we're not going to give up. And now we're breeding stayers in Ireland. So we've got a paddock full of them over there that we'll be bringing out in the next couple of years. But Robbie, I think it's a smart move for you and Shirani. I know you want to share the load. You can't work 7x24 every day. You just can't do it. And it's good to have someone young, fit, exuberant, customer focused on board that's going to make you look good. And I don't know, I ended up with Morgs, so what do I know? Anyway, all the best, guys. Have a great weekend, and good luck with your partnership.
See if I can delete
Thanks
this.
for having us on.
All right.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Pete.
No worries, Rob. Good on you, Matt.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.